got the, excuse me, I've got a Rebounders newsletter from 1997, TikTok, featuring Coach Dick Price. We're going to mention a couple things about that. And of course, coming up in the second segment, the Saltine Challenge, where good old Jay Brenner will attempt to eat 6 saltine crackers. Limited with no water. So he is going to face his food challenge this morning as Mark makes donut challenge. Earlier in the week, we were trying to fit this in. They will take 2 out of 3 donuts along with Gibson's, not Howard. And a very interesting pair. Say something into the microphone, Joe.
Something into the microphone.
That's not.
It wasn't.
Now say something.
Something.
Say it again.
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear it. No, I can't. It's good. Keep it. What's the problem?
You said you can't hear me?
Yeah, I can.
I
C-A-N.
know you can. I just want to make sure I have the right microphone.
Yeah, I think so.
No, I don't know.
You don't know? It sounds good.
Hang on a second. Tap the other microphone.
Tap, tap, tap-a-roo.
That one.
That one? That one's on. They both seem on. All 3. This one's still on. This one off. This one off. I think you got it.
Muzzled up.
Yeah.
Hey,
Why is there water here if I don't get water?
what's that?
Why is there water for the salt?
challenge is over here. You're probably going to need some water.
What about before? What about right now?
You can have some right now.
Just not while the minute is going on.
That for you.
It was very nice of you.
That,
Excuse me.
I mentioned, of course, the NIT upsets last night, NBA, big Grizz game. Of course, today starts the greatest day ever, greatest day of the year.
It's a good day.
The kickoff of the NCAA tournament.
Got my bracket in under the. We got a little family pool my nephew runs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's in.
I love it.
We got to talk about tomorrow night's game. The game has been announced.
Yeah, it's been announced. So, you go ahead and talk for a few. I got to find some stuff over here. And I got to.
Yeah, do what you got to do. You mentioned, of course, the most important tournament going on right now, the NIT last night. The upsets, Norfolk State knocks off #1 seed Alabama. Almost every game in the NIT was an upset last night. Our #1 seed, our being Memphis's in our region, not upset. TCU took care of Sam Houston State. So unless they lose second round to, I don't know who's in that side of the bracket, to be honest with you, maybe Nebraska. Nebraska beat Butler. The Butler did it. Why do those 2 schools seem to go together for me? Don't know why. Anyway, Nebraska beat Butler. Nebraska and Butler, do they have some sort of history, shared history?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But Nebraska and Creighton, now that could be, hey, that could be.
Why you brought the name Butler.
The Butler did it.
I was looking at some all one shining moments. Is it just me or Butler and Xavier, two teams that were currently in the tournament and had great success, and now they're in the Big East. And
That's right.
Have they lost their luster because now they're in major conferences? Have they not really had the success the last couple of years? I mean,
well, it's interesting. Well, a couple things. Yeah, good question. A lot of coaching turnover, right? And, you do enough coaching turnover, and even if you're great at hiring the next up-and-coming guy, eventually you're going to whiff. And Butler had to go from Brad Stevens. I forget the guy's name, but somebody really, Chris Holtman or somebody, he may be the guy at Ohio State now. I don't know, but they've turned over coaches a lot, and eventually you're going to whiff. And Butler had a couple of guys. I feel like they had a guy really flame out that didn't, and it may have been a personal flame out. I don't remember the exact situation. But you're right. I think it's also a little bit of the conference. You've seen it with Wichita State stepping up. If you have a patch of seniors or you lose, you lose the wrong guy in the wrong year and you have to rebuild as you're stepping up to that next level, you might take a step back. And I think you've seen that with a lot of schools. I think you saw it with, I think you saw a little bit here with Memphis when they stepped up from the Conference USA to the AAC. They just happened to be going from Calipari to Pastor in the few years. He had a few years in CUSA, but they had some problems over the last few years. I think you've seen that with Butler, maybe to some extent with Xavier, although until this year they had Chris Mack and perennial tournament team. Are they in the tournament this year, Xavier?
No, I believe that. I believe they're in the NIT.
Are they in the NIT? Xavier? Yeah, they are. You're right. They played Tejas today. Second round NIT game, Xavier and Tejas. So they're, getting used to a new coach, and he's probably getting used to them, whoever the hell he is. I don't know who their coach is, to be honest with you. So, I think that's part of it. But you mentioned last night, Alabama went down. I first heard of that on Talkback Live on my way in this morning with Bob and Josh. Carl was really fired up. Was it Carl? No, it was Unforgetful. Unforgetful, by the way, who doesn't call our show anymore. Call the show, 452-3094, but he called in for some reason, really fired up that Alabama dropped a home game to Norfolk State. I love that. I love seeing that. That's what the NIT is all about, Ira. It's all about the Norfolk States of the world getting their shot, their glory.
Well, to me, what it's really about is about when we didn't get the tournament.
Right.
Gone. We should have gotten in. Lost to Norfolk State.
Right. In the Battle of the Brains, Harvard beat Georgetown. How about that?
I do love that too.
And
hey, is Tommy Amaker still the coach?
Yeah, I believe he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think he took another job. Before we get too much further, also just mention that Wichita State of the AC did take care of business in their NIT game against Furman on the road. So that's a nice win. Presumably Furman has a pretty good team. Last night in the NCAA tournament, St. John's dropped a 9-point game to Arizona State, which sets up a rematch, as you mentioned earlier in the week, between Bobby Hurley and his former team, the Buffaloes. And North Dakota State took care of North Carolina Central. So that was a game we were all anticipating. But as you mentioned, the big dance, let's be real, the big dance, the NCAA tournament kicks off this morning. First game on the docket. First game on the docket will be Louisville and Minnesota.
Is that coming across?
Yeah, I hear it. Loud.
Oh, really?
Louisville and Minnesota, Yale and LSU. Sing it, Luther.
This is 2015, where my Georgia State Panthers, RJ Hunter hit the buzzer beater. Coming up.
The NCAA tournament is still an event that permeates the social fabric of the country. It still pulls in. Last night I helped our daughter fill out a bracket. She's like, who do I pick, Duke or, North Carolina Central or whatever it was?
You were like,
And no, she's 12.
you were like, clearly Duke is Duke.
Right. No, I had to explain, look at the number beside the team. That indicates who should win. I got to tell her, look, I told her, I said, the only time a 16 has ever beaten a 1, I was sitting in a hotel room with you last year watching the game. And she said, I remember that. But it's still that event. Yeah, it's still that event that permeates. Even the non-sports fan pays attention and peeks up and says, oh, it's March Madness. I'm ready for some of that.
The only thing that's a shame, right?
Yeah, just snorting. Just getting some snorts in.
The only thing that's a shame about the whole thing is that it's a 3-week-long event. Or forget about that part.
You want it to be longer or shorter?
Then it's 4 days. No. What I mean by that is, It's like you think what's the single biggest sporting event in this country?
The Super Bowl.
Obviously.
Yeah.
If the NCAA tournament, if there was a way to harness the entire NCAA tournament into one day,
yeah,
it would trump the Super Bowl by 1,000.
Well,
this opening weekend is 4 days, then you have 4 days next week, and then you have the Final Four. So it's like it's so spread out.
Well, let me give you the narrative arc, right? So here's how it always goes, right? So the next 2 days, you're going to get just absolute, almost guaranteed 2 or 3 last-second shots and or upsets of a 12, 13, 14, some school that nobody's ever heard of, and they're going to win. And it's really not going to be that big of an upset. Like if you went and looked at what the line was in Vegas, it was like 9 and they won. But it's going to be, because it's going to be in dramatic fashion and because it's going to be over a big name team, that casual sports fan, that doesn't understand is going to be like, oh my God, that's so crazy. And it's going to permeate and that's going to go on. And then over the weekend, excuse me, I'm sinking again. And then over the weekend, it'll kind of die down. Yeah, no, this is fine. The gray boy, yeah, I got a gray boy right here. Over the weekend, one of those teams will advance to the Sweet 16, right? So by the end of the weekend, you're cut it all the way down to 16. And then it'll be about that team. The story for the next week will be, oh, yeah, exactly. Mount St. Mary's, baby. And maybe they'll go to the Final Four, and that'll be, and that's all it is. And then North Carolina will win, or Duke, or Kentucky.
My biggest disappointment.
And it better not be Tennessee. Go ahead.
My biggest disappointment with the tournament, of course, is don't drink all that water. You're gonna be in trouble later, pal.
What are you talking about?
My biggest disappointment with the tournament is, of course, the fact that Gus Johnson is no longer with CBS.
But CBS only has like a third of the games. Is he not on any of the? Is he not Turner, True TV?
CBS announcer.
He's Fox, right? But sometimes they'll bring in a guy.
Yeah,
but you're saying he's not in.
They're not bringing him in.
He's not being brought in.
And he is. I mean, that's like those calls.
What about Jim Spanarkel? Will he be involved?
Jim Spanarkel's right. He's a okay color commentator. But this right here, that's why it's live radio.
Need a little. Is that Spanarkel? Who is that?
That's Gus Johnson. You know what game that's from?
No.
Remember the UCLA Gonzaga game? And it was like 103, 102. And
yeah, I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
That's from that. And it's like, I mean, first of all, UCLA had Afflalo, Westbrook, Collison, Hollins, I don't know, you name it, like 7 pros on that team. And it was a great game.
What a game!
Yeah, Gus is like a Brent Musburger.
Well, it's a single, yeah, he is. He's good. It's a single elimination tournament, and, there's games all day, and so there's just built-in drama, and then you have the David versus Goliath. It makes you wonder why, you say this every year, it makes you wonder why football doesn't attempt the same thing, and it wouldn't be an attempt. I mean, it would be amazing. You get a small, you get UCF or something even smaller. You get a Sun Belt team that slips in one year and all of a sudden they're taking Florida State or Alabama down to the wire and whatever. Ira, before we get off of college basketball and on to crackers or anything else, I did want to talk about a story that came across the wire this morning about our old friend John Calipari.
What's old Coach Cal up to now?
Old Coach Cal got on the Twitter machine last night and wrote the following, quote, "Before I go to bed, let me just say this. I'm coaching at the University of Kentucky." No crap. Okay, he goes on to say, "In my opinion, there is no better job in the world to coach basketball. My plan and my desire is to retire at Kentucky. I think the university feels the same way as I do, and we've talked openly about it."
Is this a mid,
This is a mid.
Speculation that he would go to the Lakers?
It's actually a mid interest from UCLA.
Really?
Yeah. UCLA, which fired Steve Alford last year, has gouged gauged, excuse me. They've also gouged.
They've gouged a lot of their fans.
Yeah, they have. They've gauged the interest of a number of big-time coaches, including Virginia's Tony Bennett.
That would be a monumental, huge mistake. And I tell you why. Ben Howland had tremendous success at UCLA.
Yeah.
But
3 consecutive Final Fours.
right, he said, forget about the fact that he won the championship. Three consecutive Final Fours is nice, whatever.
Style.
But his style makes you seem like if you don't, just because you win the Final Four, it's like this doesn't translate. Yeah, he's got a similar style. The fans don't want that. Now, Calipari would be a very interesting choice for UCLA. And just because he says he's staying somewhere, we all know here that doesn't necessarily mean that's true.
Yeah.
I think Calipari would have. I mean, I don't know. He's not really a West Coast guy. I don't know if he could. I don't know how he would fare, but I mean, with his, his pipeline of players, I don't know why he couldn't have success there.
Calipari could have success anywhere, but I happen to think, and I know this is probably unpopular, I happen to think he's telling the truth in that tweet.
Thinking in and of itself is unpopular.
That's true in some circles, if you're Buddhist. I happen to think he's telling the truth, that he doesn't see a better job. The NBA is a different animal entirely. And, whether he wants to go back or not, never forget his mentor is Larry Brown. And maybe, just maybe, Calipari's smart enough to learn the lesson of Larry Brown, which is maybe don't jump around every 5 years. And Calipari hasn't. He's been everywhere. He's been about 10 years, other than New Jersey, where he got fired. So, I just don't think he needs that. He probably makes more at Kentucky than the Lakers want to pay him or anyone else. I'm not saying that they could pay him, but NBA coaches typically don't make $10 million a year.
Typically not, but I would say this. Let's just say equal money, NBA to college. So first of all, he doesn't have to recruit, but he gets to be, they'll make him the GM. He'll get to be in charge of the players.
No, they wouldn't make. I mean, Magic Johnson. I guess they could get rid of Pelinka or whatever.
A role that would let him be very involved in the personnel. He may not be the final word, but I'm sure they would let him be very involved in that.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. He'd be involved. But Magic Johnson's there.
Even though you work, I'm sure, plenty hard, if not harder, in the NBA, you do get some time off. Where in college basketball, your time off is you get to hit the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, I agree with all that. I just think that Calipari is honest when he says he thinks he's got the best job in basketball. He coaches at an institution that is in the elite of that sport and doesn't have the academic pressures of a Duke or a North Carolina. It fits his brand. He's built his brand. They pay him probably close to $10. I don't know. They pay him $8-10 million a year. So he's stacking, as they say.
Who said that?
I know some people that say that. You ever heard that?
Stacking?
Yeah. He's stacking. He's stacking cash, buddy.
Bang.
Yeah, he's stacking.
And he's rolling. Hey, you know what they say?
What do they say, Ira?
Don't make dollars. It don't make sense.
That's true. Ira, update on a story we mentioned yesterday. Phil Martelli was interviewed after his firing or parting of ways with St. Joe's. Yeah, and he said the pain is raw. He says, I know this. Yeah. He says, I do have the juice. I do want to coach again. I won't let it scar me. So there he is. Phil Martelli, 64 years old. He wants to coach again. The pain is raw. The athletic director, Jill Bodensteiner, told the Bodensteiner, perhaps Bodensteiner. I don't know how it's pronounced. She told the AP that it was excruciating to part ways with Martelli, but, quote, she didn't feel like we were giving the student athletes an optimal chance to succeed. The guy lost a lot of games. So, and he said, so he's pissed. He said he hasn't even read the statement that the school let out announcing his firing. He has no interest in reading it. and he won't read it. He hasn't seen it. So let's just put this out there. They didn't part ways. I mean, they did, but he was fired.
I will agree with that.
Yeah, this one is clear. I haven't seen any follow-up on Dunleavy Sr., but we'll look into that.
Has that been announced?
Yeah, we talked about that 3 days ago. We had a big argument about it on the air. He got fired, or they parted ways with him.
About Dunleavy?
Yeah.
I thought that was about somebody else.
No, Dunleavy has been parted with. They dropped him off at the train station and said, "Don't come back."
I thought that was about somebody else. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, Dunleavy's out.
All right.
So, yeah.
We're going to take a break, Jay, and we come back, we're going to do a little bit of bracket talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully, Mark, if you're listening, maybe you can call in so I can talk about your bracket a little bit. Holy crap, you're a horrible American. And we'll talk about my bracket. Did you bring your bracket, Jay?
It's on my phone.
It's on your phone? Okay. And we'll talk about Jay's bracket, my bracket, just real quickly. And then before the second break, we will get to the saltine challenge.
How many do I have to eat in 1 minute?
6 in 1 minute.
I thought it was 4.
No.
We'll agree on 5.
No. Google saltine challenge. They'll tell you right there. 6 in a minute.
6 full size?
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, it's 6. Maury's wigs don't come off.
Sometimes it's worse. Oh, dude.
What up, dude?
I'll have to tell you off the air. But you're going to love it.
I told Carly about this. She goes, "What are you, 12?
Whatever. Carly didn't know that one. Hey, here, come here for a second.
What?
Dave sent me this text last night.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, first of all, I didn't respond. I didn't call him. I'm like, right, who cares? What does it do for me? I mean, I don't.
Interesting. I mean, what is this? Nice.
You take it with you. I've already looked at it.
TikTok.
All right, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Welcome back.
No. Messed up.
All right, welcome back to the Ion Sports with B-Ball Jones here, AM 1600, AM 730, YouTube Live, IonSports.com.
Yeah, make sure if you want to see the Cracker Challenge, and I don't just mean a couple of white people going at it, but the Saltine Challenge, go to search YouTube WMQM 1600.
WMQM 1600. Yeah.
You can see Jay's already got the crackers ready. He's getting prepared. This is going to be hilarious. He's so confident. Oh, sure, I can eat 6 crackers in a minute. Dude, you watch some videos of people trying this?
Yeah, I should have Googled strategy on this.
Yeah. Strategy. Yeah, here's your strategy. Eat crackers and see if you can force them down in a minute.
Here's what they're saying on strategy.
Yeah.
You eat the first 3, then 2, then eat the last one on its own. Your saliva is absorbed after eating 2 saltines separately, so when you use this strategy, it's said to be easier since half the challenge is over with in the first go.
That sounds tremendous. Let me give you a couple of highlights real quick of Mark's bracket, because I was very interested to see if he was going to have any major upsets. He's got Duke coming out of the East.
So do I.
Okay, so do I. He's got
Great.
Gonzaga coming out of the West.
I don't think I do.
I do not. He has Gonzaga versus Texas Tech in the regional final. And I'll say this, I have Texas Tech in the Final Four. Okay? He's got UVA coming out of the South and playing Oregon in the regional final. That, to me, is laughable to, hopefully I'm right, because I don't like to disparage him unless I know that I'm going to be right, but I think that's laughable. And then, the reason why I call him a despicable American,
Tennessee.
he's got Tennessee over Villanova in the regional final.
It's gross.
I'm sorry, that's the
Yeah, that's the Sweet 16 though, I
Oh,
think.
I'm sorry, you're right. He's got Tennessee over UVA in the regional final, and then he has North Carolina in the Final Four over Houston.
That's not a bad bracket. I don't want Tennessee, and so I didn't pick them because I just can't bring myself to do it. But it would not shock me at all if they advance. Where is the Final Four?
It's at the basketball arena.
Good call. Good call, Ira.
It's in Minneapolis.
Ah,
Yeah.
the old Minneapolis. The old man.
You know, old school, movie Old School.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're at the wedding.
Yeah.
At the beginning, and he runs into the girl, and she's like, "Yeah, I've been living in Denver," and he's drunk as hell. And he's like, "Oh, the Sunshine State, gorgeous." So I love like throwing stuff like that out there, like in the same vein. Like people are like, "Yeah, you know, I'm from Kansas. Oh, the Silver State,
Right.
beautiful." Okay. So I'll tell you quickly for me.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Well, tell me who you have them beating in the Elite Eight to go to the Final
So
Four.
Duke is Duke, and they're going to beat Michigan State.
That's what I got.
Okay. Any big upsets you have in that bracket?
On that side, I mean, the way ESPN's bracket is done, it's hard to see. But no, that bracket I picked pretty much true to form.
You picked Mississippi State to beat Liberty.
I did.
Or I picked Liberty, but not.
Yeah, no. That's the region. Yeah.
I also picked Yale.
Okay.
In the first round.
Yeah, I had LSU over Yale.
Okay. So then I have, so I said Michigan State and Duke, and then Duke going to the Final Four. In the western region,
Yeah.
some serious action going on.
Me too.
All right, so I've got Baylor beating Gonzaga in the second round, and they're going to face Marquette, and Marquette will get to the regional final against Texas Tech. Texas Tech, I have beating Michigan, and Texas Tech getting to the Final Four. So I think that sets up. I think that sets up for a number of teams. Because Michigan, I think it's a fairly weak number 2, and I think Gonzaga's, we don't know. There's not enough about them. So I think if something falls the right way for a team like Baylor or for Nevada, you could see Florida State, Texas Tech, Nevada, Baylor, Marquette. You could see any of them get out of that.
You just said it. I've got Florida State advancing to the Final Four, beating Nevada in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I'm not even bothered by that.
They're a highly. I haven't seen a lot of them. Probably about 45 seconds this year of Florida State.
32 more than me.
But they're very athletic. Leonard Hamilton is a good coach.
Yeah, well, their coach.
Yeah, he's a good coach. They've advanced. They've had a great program. It's funny because he was, along with Scott Drew at Baylor, a finalist for the Memphis job when Calipari left, and everybody said, including myself, "You can't hire that bum. What a bum!" And he's been great.
I would love to have.
He's been great.
Then we'll go over the Midwest. North Carolina and Kansas is going to be a good game. Upset over in that region. I've got Auburn losing to New Mexico State.
See, I've got Auburn advancing to the regional final, which is probably really stupid.
Iowa State, I have Iowa State beating Houston and then upsetting Kentucky with a UNC Iowa State regional final.
And then UNC advancing.
UNC, who do you have Auburn playing?
It's pretty smart. I have Auburn playing Kentucky and Kentucky going to the Final Four.
Okay. And then if you go up to I call it the Colgate region.
Yeah.
Tennessee versus Colgate. The one game that I had the hardest time with was Cincinnati and Iowa. Because Iowa's really been struggling lately. And the reason why it was a struggle for me is because I think that game could spell the end for Tennessee. I picked Cincinnati and then I picked Tennessee to win.
Yeah.
But I've got them losing to Purdue.
You have Tennessee losing to Purdue.
Correct. I've got Kansas. They're hot. They're good. I got Kansas State beating UVA. Kansas State versus Purdue in the regional final. Purdue. So I've got two number ones.
I'm just telling you right now, that's the region that's going to kill you.
Probably. No, I mean, well, here's the thing. I've got the higher seeds in every game.
The Midwest will kill me, but that region's going to kill you.
I've got the higher seeds in every game until the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
So, and then, so then I got, here's the thing, I got two number ones and two number threes. It's not like I got some eights and sixes.
I understand.
I've got Duke against North Carolina for the fourth time in the championship, and Duke winning 77-69.
Well, Duke is Duke. I've got Virginia over Villanova. I picked with my heart, I have to say. I just knocked Tennessee out in the round of 16 because I can't stomach the thought.
Losing to Villanova?
Yeah. I mean, but Villanova could be gone round one, and that's why that region could kill me. You pick these teams, oh, yeah, Villanova, and they're friggin' gone by noon on Thursday. And you're like, well, okay, maybe next year. And then your 8-year-old niece wins the pool or something.
I like your uniform.
Exactly. Anyway, I don't have an 8-year-old niece, but
How old is she?
older than that. Duke over Florida State and Kentucky over Virginia, and I've got Duke over Kentucky in the final, 80-70. So how about that? 80-70. So, the thing about pools, I would say it's interesting. We talked earlier about, I love swimming. I don't like the chlorination that has to take place. It's funny. There was an article in the Commercial Appeal. I don't know if it was Calkins or some other, maybe it was Dan Wolkin because he was friends with us, but rest in peace, our dear friend Stefan Utevsky was once quoted in an article probably this day, 15 years ago or whatever, because it was the beginning of the tournament and it was about pools and doing pools.
He was a pool guy.
And he hit
we don't need him claiming it.
Right. The quote was, "I've always been a pool guy." Oh, man, Utes. We love you. The spirit of the show, for sure. So,
Quickly before we
yeah.
get into basketball, speaking,
We got to get this saltine challenge out of the way.
Rest in peace, Utes, of course.
Yeah, of course.
This is his favorite time of year. And just,
Because he's always been a pool guy.
yeah, to tie all that together, congratulations to one of our listeners. Lewis had a baby yesterday.
Oh.
Lewis had a baby boy. Congratulations to him.
Name?
In honor of the NCAA tournament, he is naming the kid Gus Brackets Lewis. I'm kidding. We don't want to reveal the name.
That is pretty amazing, though, that he had a kid, right in the midst of March Madness. That's typical. I mean, that's like some sort of, spiritual gift. Perfect timing for Lewis. So that's great. As I mentioned, the first game on the docket today, Louisville, Minnesota. You'll want to catch that on CBS. And then about half an hour later, you can flip over to True TV and catch Yale and LSU.
I have to wonder, since True TV has been a part of this last several years, I wonder how their overall ratings or how they've done as a network. Because before that was on before the tournament was showing games on True TV. Had you ever been on True TV?
No.
Right. So now you have. Do you ever, after the tournament's over, do you ever go back and see what's on?
No.
No.
Never. You're not recording this, are you? Never. You know what I'm interested in today, Ira? The point spreads. It's always interesting. It's like I said, Northeastern could beat Kansas, and the whole country would be captivated because it would go down to the wire. You know how many points they're catching?
Like 7.
7, right. It's not that big of an upset. They've won 23 games.
Well, what's interesting is I heard somebody, these guys talking about this. I forget who was on some show, and they mentioned the fact that if you take that game, and that game is in late December, prior to your conference schedule, Kansas is a 22-point favorite, an 18-point favorite, 15-point favorite. But you put that game.
Well, you're talking about at home.
Or home neutral court, whatever. But you put that game in the NCAA tournament on a neutral court
with a spotlight on it.
The spotlight, what you're playing for,
the TV timeouts, the way the pace of it all.
All of it combined, it makes for a closer game regardless.
You know, it's funny you mention that because I saw a Mick Cronin interview during the AC tournament, and they were asking him about Jaron Cumberland, their star sort of guard forward. And he said, I've been so excited to get him into tournament play because he can't be mugged or something. You know, it was some sort of indication that like tournament play is drastically different, the way that it's officiated or the pace of the play. But it was some indication of exactly what you're saying, that there's just something different. And you could quantify it, I suppose. I'm sure some people have. But for the average jamoke like myself, it's more mysterious. So Ira is, just for play-by-play for those of you not watching, Ira has just delivered to me some paper towels. Is that so that I don't have to put the saltines directly on the table here? I appreciate you looking out on that.
Not only am I looking out for you in that respect, but I was able to remove the 2 outer layers of the paper towel roll, just in case some of the outer layers were tainted.
Thank you.
All right, let me see the 6.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1.
Okay. So we have the 6 crackers.
I'm gonna wet my mouth here.
Let me just give you a little something real quick. When after the challenge is over, I got to talk about this newest letter that I found from the 1997 Tiger Rebounders, and it's called it's got the TikTok segment with Coach Dick Price, and it's quite a.
Are you gonna play music? Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Oh, let me.
What are you gonna do? How are we gonna do this for radio?
I'll give up some music.
Are you gonna talk, or is it just for radio?
I'm gonna try and comedy. I'm gonna try and
play by play.
Yeah, play by play. Let me find a little music for you. Hey, you know what would be good music for you? That's disgusting. All right, let me get the timer ready.
I got it over here.
I got the timer. Official.
Okay. But I got one for me so I can see it.
Well, I'll call it out.
You're good, yeah.
I'll continue with the one shiny moment.
Oh, good.
Keep you fired up.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
On your marks.
Yeah.
Get set. Go. All right. Jay's got the first couple in his mouth. He's chewing. I know that he thinks it's going to be easy, but I can assure you, friends, it is not. I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to today. I want to see one good upset today. The Jay is chewing. We're 22 seconds in. No freaking chance. He hasn't even swallowed the first 2. You got 2 or 3 in there. 2. He's not. He's got 3 in there. Okay. He's going for the next mile. He's got 25 seconds left.
I could really use. I could use some water.
Don't try and talk. So Jay's he's efforting it down. He's still chewing. He's about to try and force some more in there. We're going to see how he does. No,
This is over.
10 seconds left. Yeah. Pop him in there. Can you suck him down? Can you swallow? He's got them all in there. 3, 2-1 ball game. You have all 6 in your mouth?
No, well,
Hang on.
I did swallow about 80% of the first 3.
Well, 80% of the first 3, and you got the other 4 the other 3 in your mouth?
Yeah, they were in there.
They were in there. But
there was no way.
I told you it's not so easy.
Good Lord.
I know, I'm telling you, right? There's another challenge that I was at a party one night and someone was talking about the saltine challenge. And then someone said something about a sort of bread challenge.
Oh my God.
You had to eat like 2 pieces of Wonder Bread in like a minute or 30 seconds or whatever it was, and try and get that down with no water. And it was also quite difficult. So,
Yeah. We did one with white rice, like Chinese food white rice with cheese back in the day. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was friggin' hilarious.
try to suck down a bucket of white rice.
Yeah, with like, I don't remember. Yes.
Dry white rice.
Yeah, exactly.
Does it have some soy sauce on it?
No.
Are you going to keep eating salty?
Yeah, I like saltines.
I remember the other brand. They had like the Zesta brand or whatever. Yeah, my grandmother always had those on tap. Anyway.
Well, I failed.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Not everybody can pass. Oh, by the way, did you see any of the Grizzlies game last night? I mean, did you see what happened?
I saw they beat Houston.
Yeah, the game was, they were in overtime. It was 125 apiece. I just happened to catch it like on the replay this morning. It was coming down to the wire.
And Cancun hit a big shot.
I didn't know about Cancun, but it was coming down to the wire. It was 125 apiece in overtime. Conley missed a shot, and Valanciunas got the rebound and got fouled going up for the follow with like 0.1 seconds left. And he hit the free throw to put him ahead and win the game. And I believe that like Harden had 50-something points.
He did. Harden had 50.
57.
57, yeah.
Yeah, so he had 57 points in a loss. And there were some other big game, like big scoring nights last night. Like Embiid had 37, the 76ers beat the Celtics by 3.
Ira, what do you make of this Grizzlies team? They're now 29-42. What is their record since the All-Star break?
29 and 42.
No. But they have.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I'll look it
I
up.
think they're playing around 500 balls since the All-Star break.
But what do you make of this? Are they just, the classic example of once you have nothing to lose, you play pretty well?
There's that. You got guys that are trying to play for a spot next, somewhere in the NBA next year. So I think there's a lot of factors. But I think what you just mentioned is probably a good point that you've got nothing to lose, so you might as well go all play looser. You're all out. There's no reason not to play hard, and
They are 500 since the All-Star break, by the way.
right, which is good considering that they were 13 games under 500.
Yeah.
And if you're playing 500 ball, that's not bad. Now, some people are talking about this is a team that you could bring back next year once you add back the pieces of the guys that are hurt, like
That's what Josh was saying this morning.
Brooks and whoever else, and then that would be a good team. Well,
Jaren Jackson. Yeah, I'm not sure I believe
I
that.
think that might be a 500 team.
Right.
I don't know if that's a team that would be.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be in playoff. Well, you're not going to be in championship contention. But this Valanciunas guy, this guy looks like the real deal.
Okay, Valanciunas.
Yeah, flatulence.
Valanciunas.
He looks like the real deal.
Well,
And by the real deal, I mean,
the real deal, Holyfield.
yeah.
Hey, he's good. I mean, he's a good player. He's young. I think he's worth keeping if you can.
He has a player option. Is that right? We need the guru for this conversation. We can't have this without him. But Parsons, people predicted. It's funny when Parsons came back to the team a few weeks ago or after the All-Star break. It was predicted, he's not going to be here. He played 3 games. He's gone. And look, I'm not defending Chandler Parsons, but somebody should because he's still playing. He had a big shot. Played 25 minutes last night. 11 points, and 3 threes. So there you have it, Ira. Chan Kun earning that dough.
Earning 14% of his $30 million.
There you go.
All right, Jay, let's take a break.
My mouth is kind of cut up right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I tell you. It's no joke.
Paying the price on this one.
Yeah, you will. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will, I want to talk about this Tiger Talk thing from that newsletter, and we may have a couple minutes for some other stuff. Listening to the Eye on Sports with P-Ball Jones. The Saltine Challenge is over. Unfortunately, Jay was not the victor.
I was defeated.
But to the victor goes the spoils for Saltine. We'll be right back.
You ready for more challenges?
Hang on, Jay. I got music playing. You don't care, do you?
No, I don't care.
Okay. Folks, welcome back.
We're back already.
The commercial break didn't exactly go the way I had planned.
It's fine.
I had the stuff queued up, but for some reason it didn't play, and it skipped right from the Advotech commercial to cheese to shut up pool to the music. And I thought it was going to be some more commercials, but we don't care.
Ira, here's how the banana Sprite challenge works. Are you ready?
I'm sorry. You said banana Sprite.
Yes.
Let's hear
You got to eat 2 bananas and drink a can of Sprite. The bananas should be eaten quickly, followed by a can or a bottle of Sprite. The last person to vomit wins the challenge.
Is there
Apparently, you're almost guaranteed to vomit if you eat.
Is there anything in there that gives the science behind the vomit inducement of 2 bananas and Sprite?
The banana supplies the protein, and the cold soft drink adds a lot of carbon dioxide to your stomach. Your stomach is quite warm, much warmer than the soda, which means the carbon dioxide becomes less soluble at the higher temperature, and gas bubbles are making a very fast escape from the liquid. The banana, I mean, I could go on with this, but yeah.
That doesn't sound like that much fun.
Banana protein coats the CO2 bubbles, makes a very stable expanding foam in your stomach. Creation of the foam means you just can't burp to get rid of the CO2, but it has to get out somehow because your stomach is only so large. So an escape is made using its only available exit, your mouth. That's from Kieran Kelly of the Boston Consulting Group.
We'll pass.
Let's do it, though.
Let's not. It doesn't sound like fun.
Oh,
Especially
man.
Kind of like, okay, last one of vomit. I mean, that's like, you know, if you get dry mouth from eating a bunch of saltines, it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, now I've got like sores in my mouth.
Maybe the sores are already there.
Maybe.
Gross.
I gotta go.
Everywhere.
Some medicine.
Some cold sore stuff.
Yeah.
Valtrex.
Get out of here.
Goodness.
That's all right.
Alright, so anyway, I brought you this thing that I found in my house.
Yeah, this is the.
Rebounders newsletter.
Now, where was this in your house? Was this with my VHS tapes of old Tiger games?
Yeah, I got them. Don't be afraid. They're safe and sound, boxed up. I've got this. They were found at my parents' house. Anyway, the point is, I think if you open it up, If you open up the inside page, there's a thing in there about our recruits and our recruiting ranking. It talks about how our current recruits are doing in their high school season. You see that part? Which is
Yeah, sure.
Paris London?
Sure.
So Paris London, Dino Daniels, Kelly Wise, and who's this other guy?
Terry Rogers, who I don't think ever showed up.
You ever heard of him?
I mean, I'm sure I did when this was going on because I knew everything then. It sounds familiar. Aaron Mulva.
Mulva, yeah, love Mulva.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Tiger Insider, the hard copy mailer. We like to send a mailer.
Yeah.
From the, what year was this? 99? 97?
Tick's first year.
Tick, probably, yeah, December 1997. Tick only had 2 years, so. This is good, Ira. This is real good. The player profile is Cody Hobson.
Yeah, Cody Hobson, favorite food, pizza. Favorite movie, A Time to Kill, which is like just been out.
Best athlete he's ever played against, Anthony Hardaway. Now, when did he play against Anthony Hardaway? Probably in like summer, whatever.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, Cody Hobson.
Good old Hobson.
You got the.
I like the look on the back. It's got the last 5 games, leading scorers.
Omar Sneed.
Owsley, and then you got the Oklahoma game where
Moody
scored 41.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's very cool. I remember. Look, I remember this team well.
Oh yeah.
And they've got the community watch, all the speaking engagements.
Yeah.
That Chip Sims, Shamel Jones, Cody Hobson, and Jermaine Owsley went to.
Sheldrick Bradford headed to MUS.
Yeah.
For a couple of discussions.
With Omar Sneed and Jim Childers.
God, how awesome was Omar Sneed?
He was a hell of a scorer, man.
Dude, that guy was off the chain.
He was really good. It's a shame he didn't play on a better team. And then his second year, Tick screwed the whole thing up. His second year, he got Snap Hunter in there.
Yeah, Jimmy Snap.
And the whole team just didn't gel. They took a step backwards, and I think off-court indiscretions by the coach may have played into that. I didn't hear anything. Heard nothing. So, but yeah, it's always good to get that Tiger retro news, Ira. You know, we like to do. Yeah, Dean, I understand.
Dick Price.
Yeah, well, that's true.
A fun example.
That's for sure. Yeah, retro Tiger news is always fun. Grab an old media guide.
Yeah.
Grab an old
Grab an old cheerleader.
VHS tape.
I mean, VHS tape. Yeah.
Yeah. Ira, happy birthday today to Matt Broderick. How old?
Yeah, Matt Broderick is going to go 53.
He's 57 years old.
Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar? You know, sometimes you get these teasers. You go on a website and they'll have like a bottom, they'll have like these teaser stories. You'll click on it. It's not really the story that you think it is, but whatever. They have a story about like when he was a young star. Like we're talking about like probably post-war games, but maybe like 86, 87, and he was like dating Jennifer Grey, and they like vehicularly manslaughtered somebody and killed somebody.
Broderick?
You know what I'm talking about at all?
Sounds like Ted Kennedy. I have no idea.
It's not like that. No, that was a different story. But yeah, I mean, yeah, something about that. It was like on one of those websites.
Let me see here. I just Googled Matthew Broderick vehicular homicide. Yeah, in a 1987 car crash, while driving a rented BMW in Northern Ireland, Broderick crossed into the wrong lane, collided head-on with a Volvo driven by Anna Gallagher and her mother, and they were both killed instantly. So you're right, Ira. That's according to Wikipedia.
It happened in Ireland?
It happened in Ireland.
That's why we didn't hear about it here.
Yeah.
Cover up.
So that had to. That's not good.
Well, I know, but that's why I'm saying no one really knows that about him in here. I just didn't really.
Was he drunk?
I don't know anything about it other than I remember seeing like it's like click here if you want to read about Matthew Broderick and how come he isn't considered like some scumbag even though he behaviorally manslaughtered some people and I don't know.
Well, let's talk about it right now. He told police he had no recollection of the crash, didn't know why he was in the wrong lane, doesn't remember the day, doesn't even remember.
Because he's American and we drive on the proper side of the street. Or
That is really odd, yeah. Was he, yeah. I don't know if he was drunk or not. He was vacationing, you're right, Ira, with Jennifer Grey. That's a good tune.
It is, but that's not.
The victim's son and brother called the verdict a travesty of justice.
I agree.
He was fined $175. That is,
Anyway, that was a long time ago, and hopefully he's made amends. But anyway, Robert's been in some great movies, and he's been in some crap a lot too.
Yeah, Broderick, is probably his best movie would be Max Dugan Returns.
God, don't even start me on that.
Just did.
Love Max Dugan Returns.
Biloxi Blues, also very good.
Biloxi Blues is pretty good. Project X.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Games is definitely good.
Lion King.
You know what? I have never seen Lion King.
It's not good. Cape. No, it's not good that you've never seen it because it's a very good movie. He was adult Simba in that movie. The Cable Guy.
Seen most of that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
You know what the best part about that is the medieval times.
Yes.
So when we were in Dallas in 2006, we had the NCAA tournament. Our hotel was overlooking the parking lot of the medieval times. And
Wait, when you were where in Dallas?
Dallas.
Yeah, I've driven past that medieval times.
So friend of the show, Terry, was hanging out the window of our hotel room, just watching people walk up the medieval times and calling them nerds.
Right.
It was so mean, but really funny.
Yeah, I've driven past that. I know exactly where you were. So, but Matthew Broderick's best movie I read, or at least my favorite, Election. Really, that's a really good movie.
I didn't love it. It's all right. I have to go back and look at this full.
His friend Dave, the teacher that gets fired.
Yeah, I mean it's good, but it's just I don't know. I didn't love it.
It's a little dark.
It's a little dark.
Yeah.
It's not,
Hey, on this old school '80s site that you and I both love, they've got an interview posted with your boy Michael Winslow.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
What was his character name in Police Academy?
Jones.
Jones?
You'll get like 45 seconds.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Jones. I think it was Jones.
Ira, before we get out of here, which game are you most looking forward to seeing in the first round? Georgia State?
Yeah, and of course it's gonna overlap with the Tiger game.
Yeah.
Georgia State, Houston's like at 6:20. Tigers.
Up. All right, welcome. A message from God's Word. What's up?
Still on YouTube though.